Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ka Theater here in Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Todd Grisham, and I don't think you need me to tell you that we have a mega fight coming up this Saturday, May 4th, Cinco de Mayo weekend, live and exclusive on DAZN from the T-Mobile Arena. Daniel Jacobs versus Canelo Alvarez to unify the middleweight championship of the world. And you know, when it comes to big fights in the past, sometimes the hype comes from the amount of vitriol and the amount of hate that the two fighters show for each other. Think about Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather, and Bernard Hopkins and Tito Trinidad, Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman. I mean, these people, it's a boxing joke. But for this fight, ladies and gentlemen, as you've seen, there is no hype that is needed. There is no bad blood. Both Daniel Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez have been absolute gentlemen. They realize, as well as everyone else, that this fight sells itself. As Daniel Jacobs said just the other day in a media interview, he believes that this fight will be talked about for at least the next 10 to 20 years. Without further ado, let me introduce a man who helped bring this all together. One of the all-time greats, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Golden Boy, Mr. Oscar De La Hoya.
Thank you very much. I want to start by saying a few words in Spanish. Since we are celebrating the whole Cinco de Mayo weekend, and I want to start by saying how appreciative we are to all the media, all the press. Thank you very much for all the coverage, for spreading the word. It really has been an incredible ride up to this point, where now, leading up to the fight, we know that both gentlemen are in great shape, are professionals, and are going to give us an amazing fight. So, primeramente, gracias a todos los medios. Gracias por todo el apoyo que le han dado a este gran evento. Obviamente, sin ustedes, este evento no sería posible. Les quiero agradecer a todos los medios de México que viajaron a estar en este evento y pues escribir sus historias y mandar el mensaje a todo el mundo. Así que de parte de Golden Boy, de parte de Canelo, de parte de Eddie Hearn y Matchroom Boxing, muchas gracias. La verdad que lo agradecemos mucho. We're only a few days away from the biggest boxing event of the year. Canelo Alvarez, the pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, is recognized as the #1 middleweight in the world. Daniel Jacobs from Brooklyn, New York, is recognized as the #2 best middleweight in the world. This Saturday, the #1 and #2 best middleweights on the planet will put everything on the line for one simple reason: to see who is the best. That is boxing at its finest. And if there is anything that characterizes Golden Boy, it's that we always strive to make the best fights possible. Indeed, this is the biggest fight in boxing, featuring biggest star in boxing at the most lucrative place for boxing on the biggest platform for boxing. However, this fight also transcends the sport of boxing because it addresses a desire that is universally respected, and that is the desire to be remembered as a great fighter. In life, there are challenges that strengthen a person's character and determine how this person will be remembered. Boxing is no different. And the men we have before us today have faced tough challenges that few on this earth can relate to. Daniel Jacobs, for instance, the champion, the challenger, isn't supposed to be here. In 2011, he was diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer. His doctors told him he wouldn't never walk again, let alone box again. But here he is, a two-time world champion, headlining the biggest event of the year. Canelo Alvarez, yes, our champion, has also faced tough challenges. As a child of immigrants, I know from my parents how difficult it is to start a life in Mexico, but still, Canelo persevered, despite his humble surroundings, to be the #1 fighter on the planet. Outside of the ring, these men have already proven what they are made of, and for that, they deserve our respect. But this Saturday, these men will also have to determine who will be remembered as the best middleweight of their time, the only way they know how, with their fists. If the desire to be great is as powerful as I know it is, then we will have a great fight on Saturday night. This battle, as you know, will take place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So we want to thank our partners at T-Mobile Arena for hosting Canelo for the 5th time at such an exciting venue. Tickets are still available for Canelo versus Jacob. You can purchase them over the phone or online at tmobilearena.com. We also want to thank our sponsors, Tecate, the official beer of boxing, and Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle. Thank you for your continued support. You have done an amazing job spreading the word that a mega event is taking place Cinco de Mayo weekend here in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. We also want to thank Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing for their role in making this event possible. Obviously, Daniel Jacobs has had an amazing career, and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing has done an incredible job. So I personally want to thank Eddie Hearn for making this possible with us. Last but not least, we want to thank our partners at DAZN for providing the best platform for boxing. Now with DAZN, you can watch anytime, anywhere. It's like Netflix, but for sports. Just download the DAZN app and stream on any smart device, whether you're on the go or in your living room. We are excited to be at the forefront of this new era in boxing with DAZN and look forward to continue making boxing more accessible and affordable for the fans. May 4th will be a historic night. You have one champion on one side, and you have another champion on the other side. And I was thinking back, when was the last time we've had such middleweight unification? And you have to go back to Usyk, you have to go back to Bernard Hopkins, but there's only a handful of fighters who have been in the history of the sport who have been unified champions. So it's a mega event because of Canelo and because of Jacobs, but it makes it that much more special when it's a unification fight. You won't see this every day in boxing. You won't see this, you probably won't see this type of unification for a long time. Two great fighters, but that's what it's all about. And that's what Canelo's all about, and that's what Jacob's all about. So Saturday night, we expect fireworks, we expect a war, we expect an amazing fight with two gentlemen who have done an amazing job getting to this point. So thank you very much. Gracias.
And now to a man who knows a thing or two about middleweight world title bouts. In fact, he defended the world middleweight championship more than any boxer in history. He is the executioner. He is the alien. He is Bernard Hopkins.
First, I'd like to say Oscar really covered most of it. To Darren Jacobs, I'd like to say to him, man, like, this is a historic moment for your team, and you know, the Eddie Hearn's team and Daniel Jacobs team, this is real special. It was special to me in 2001. So you fast forward 18, 19 years later, as my partner just said, it doesn't happen in any division, but I'm glad it's happening now. So to Canelo, to Jacob, well done. Now let's take care of business. Enjoy the fight, everyone.
When you have a big fight in Las Vegas, you have to have it at the T-Mobile Arena. And now from the T-Mobile Arena, we have the president of Las Vegas Sports and Entertainment, Mr. Richard Stern.
Good afternoon to the media in attendance and all the fight fans watching today's event on the live stream. This championship fight at the T-Mobile Arena will be the highlight to another exciting Cinco de Mayo weekend this Saturday. I'd like to welcome Canelo Alvarez back to the T-Mobile Arena following his victory last September. I'd also like to welcome Danny Jacobs for his long-awaited debut. These two champions always put on an exciting show for their fans, and we know they'll do the same on Saturday. I'd like to give a special thanks to Oscar de la Hoya, Eric Gomez, Robert Gaspari, and the entire Golden Boy Promotions team, Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith and their team at Matchroom Boxing, the DAZN team led by Joseph Markowski, as well as Bob Bennett of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the T-Mobile Arena this Saturday for this really great event.
Golden Boy Promotions and Canelo Alvarez have staged many fights here in the fight capital of the world. And from the Nevada State Athletic Commission, please welcome the Executive Director, Mr. Bob Bennett.
Make this a little shorter. All right, here we go. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, we would like to thank Oscar de la Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Promotions for bringing this phenomenal fight to the fight capital of the world. There is no doubt that we are honored, humbled, and we're ready to regulate this fight. We want to recognize MGM and Richard Sturm because they are second to none when it comes to hosting a championship fight. I also want to recognize and welcome DAZN for streamlining this special event, and a personal welcome to Las Vegas. I believe it's their first one. And last and most importantly, as I typically say, we want to thank the fighters, the professional fighters, Danny Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez, because without these two warriors, none of us would be here today. Thank you very much, and God bless.
I'm a little bit taller than Bob. There we go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, perhaps the most famous belt in all of boxing is the green belt, and that is the belt from the WBC. And please welcome the president of that organization, Mr. Mauricio Sulaiman.
Hola, Oscar. Good afternoon. It's a real honor for me to be here with Oscar de la Hoya and Eddie Hearn, putting together an example for everybody on how to work together to give the fans the best fights possible. I am honored to be here on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and I cannot but remember my father for the so many times that I came with him to these fights, as it has been a tremendous tradition for Cinco de Mayo, September 16, to have the best fights from around the world, and they always happen here in Las Vegas. So thinking about the past, on how many nights Oscar de la Hoya defended that national holiday as a champion. Now, Canelo Alvarez has taken the banner from Oscar and from Julio Cesar Chavez, Eric Morales, Barrera, Marquez, Floyd Mayweather, and so many great champions who fight at the MGM on Cinco de Mayo on September 16. That is why the WBC created a special piece, which is the Mayan belt. As we did the Huichol and the Chapaneco last year, we did this for the Mayan culture. And I am sure that Danny Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez will feel proud, whoever wins the fight, to get this special piece that is one of a kind, only one piece done, and it's a piece of Mexico and boxing going to the winner. I would like to congratulate the Nevada Commission for implementing the instant replay procedure and to keep always trying to make boxing better. So, Mr. Bennett, congratulations for taking that very important step for the safety of boxing. DAZN welcome to the sport. You are doing great. You are bringing to millions of fans and new fans the opportunity to follow our great sport. The WBC will always support anything that happens for the betterment of our sport, and I'm just very proud to be here. I wish Oscar and Eddie the best success. I am sure they will be working for many years together to make the best fights, and I wish Canelo and his team, I wish Jacobs and his team the best night, and the best man win the fight. Thank you so very much.
We've heard from the head of Golden Boy, now for the head of Matchroom and from DAZN. Ladies and gentlemen, the very soft-spoken Eddie Hearn.
Thank you, thank you. Before I start, I just want to send our best wishes to a young journalist, Sean Zittel from Fight Hype, who obviously people watching this won't know was taken ill just before the start of the press conference. Our thoughts are with him. I want to do the standard thank yous before I go into this fight, and there's a lot of people to thank. I'll try and keep it brief. Firstly, Maurizio Suleiman from the WBC. We want to thank you not only for producing that great belt, for all the work you're doing in boxing, trying to make the sport safer for fighters. The role that you play in VADA testing and in the WBC weight management program, I think is incredibly important, and we thank you for that. Also, the other belts that are on the line, the WBA belt, Mr. Mendoza, and Danny's belt, the IBF belt, with Daryl Peoples as well. Thank you very much to the Las Vegas Commission, to Bob Bennett. It's one of the questions we've had so many times. Are you happy? Are you confident with the judging panel, with the commission? And we have to say 100% from our side. I believe we have 4 outstanding officials across this fight who are going to give Danny Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez a complete blank canvas and mutual respect as they score this very important fight. So thank you, Bob, for everything you've done. Richard Sturm, thank you so much. Growing up, I came to many fights that my father was involved with at Las Vegas, and to be involved in promoting one is an absolute honour at your residence. And this is the place that just lights up the sport of boxing. You know, this is the place, growing up as a kid, you always saw those major fights, so thank you very much. For DAZN, well, this is it. This is the big one for you, for us. And when I say us, I talk about the family at DAZN, which cuts across Golden Boy, which cuts across, obviously, all your other properties as well. The World Boxing Super Series, the NBL, Combate Americas, Bellator, everything that you're doing. This is such a pivotal moment for not just your business, but for the sport of boxing, where I've seen over the last 3-4 months expensive one-sided pay-per-view cards, and I'm still struggling to get my head round the American public continuously paying $80, $90, $100 a night for a pay-per-view. This is a refreshing new platform, and the work you're doing, not just around the events, but also with the 40-day series with LeBron James and Maverick Carter, it's groundbreaking stuff, and I think this is a major moment that fight fans and the media should be supporting as well. I want to thank the media as well, because without you guys turning up and pushing this great sport of boxing, we would have no chance. And in a country like America, where there is so many different sports, so many sports to cover, you guys are continuously fighting our cause, and we thank you for being here today. When we talk about this fight, the last thanks we should give on this side is to Golden Boy Boxing, to Oscar De La Hoya, to Eric Gomez, to the Canelo team, and to Canelo Alvarez, and Robert Diaz as well. Bernard, it is honestly a pleasure working with you guys. I know that historically promoters always butt heads, but we're very much working towards the same cause with DAZN and working to try and put on the biggest and best fights for the platform. I know right now that this side has a feeling of excitement and nerves going into this weekend, because this is a wonderful, wonderful fight between 2 great champions. And this is what the sport of boxing is all about. The problem with sport in general these days is completely dominated by money. But I promise you, as we stand here today, not one person on this side and not one person on this side is thinking about $1. They're just thinking about the thrill and the importance of victory on Saturday night and becoming the unified middleweight world champion. So enjoy this fight. This is a great moment for the sport of boxing. And really, from our side, We just want three simple things. We want to make sure that Danny Jacobs is victorious on Saturday night, and we truly believe from the bottom of our hearts that he will be. We want to make sure that we spread the gospel in boxing that great fights can be made. You can put the best fighters on your promotional roster together. You can take risks. It's fun. It's called sport. And that's what we have to remember, why these young men started fighting. What they wanted to gain from this sport when they first laced up the gloves was greatness. It wasn't about how much money they could make. It was how many belts they could gather. Could they reach the Hall of Fame? Could they create a legacy? But thirdly, and most importantly, I want the message of Daniel Jacobs to be spread worldwide. The illness and the disease of cancer touches all of us. We all have members of the family, sometimes ourselves, that are riddled by this disease. With Daniel Jacobs, you have a message of complete hope to anybody in suffering. Daniel Jacobs was paralyzed. He couldn't walk. He was told he may never walk again. He was told he'll certainly never fight again. So right now, I want this story to be spread worldwide to people suffering, to people that don't think they have a hope, to look at this fine young man and realize there is hope. And if he can do it, you can do it. Because this young man is inspirational. And on Saturday night, I believe he will become victorious and become the unified middleweight champion of the world. I thank you to the team. Andre Razier, happy birthday.
Thank you, Eddie.
Coach. Keith Connolly, thank you for believing in us. You've done an amazing job. But thank you most of all to this fine young man who I believe on Saturday night will be the unified middleweight champion of the world. Enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
Many who have met the next speaker say he's the smartest man they've met, and he must be, because somehow he convinced a lot of people to start a company called DAZN, putting on the best fights in the world and only charging $20 a month. But he promises that the company will make money somehow, some way. We'll see about that. He's one of the biggest brains behind DAZN. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, and he's got good hair too, Mr. Joe Markowski.
I blush with that introduction. Thank you very much for that. But listen, thank you to all of our partners on stage with us today and to our hosts in Nevada and at the MGM and the T-Mobile Arena. Nearly 1 year ago today, and it was not quite 1 year ago today, we held a press conference in New York to tell all of you about DAZN and our grand plans in the United States and North America. And we were pretty bold, and we knew we needed to be, because as Eddie said, this is a country where there's a hell of a lot of competition for attention, there's a hell of a lot of noise. We said we'd deliver unrivaled value for fight fans. We said we'd deliver pay-per-view quality events to our subscribers at a single monthly subscription price. And I don't think I'm speaking out of turn to say that some people in this room didn't believe us. But here we are at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, the biggest stage, the biggest fight weekend of the year in Cinco de Mayo, and the biggest fight on the calendar in Canelo Jacobs. All of that is in less than a year's work, and I'm proud to say we've stayed true to everything we said in May last year, making that announcement. DAZN is here, doing what we said we'd do, having firmly established our business at the heart of American boxing. And let's be clear, on any other platform, this fight would be a pay-per-view fight. 80, 90, maybe even $100. But instead of making this fight available for $100, we're making an entire year worth of fights available for $100 with our annual pass. And if you just break that down for the value we're offering in the next couple of months, Canelo Jacobs this weekend, the World Boxing Super Series on May the 18th, Alexander Usyk's debut at heavyweight on May the 25th, Anthony Joshua's American debut on June the 1st, and Gennady Golovkin's return with his DAZN debut on June the 8th. All of that and more than 100 fight nights a year, including the fact that both Canelo and Triple G will be back fighting on DAZN in the fall. But this weekend, let's not go past this weekend, it's absolutely massive for the middleweight division, a truly electrifying fight. It's also massive, as Eddie mentioned, for the DAZN business, but more importantly, it's huge for fight fans. On Sunday morning, those fans, instead of waking up to a bill for $100, will have an entire year of content to look forward to. And that's a truly transformational moment for those fight fans. So special thanks to our partners both at Golden Boy, Team Canelo, and at Matchroom. our hosts at the MGM and the Nevada State Athletic Commission. We look forward to seeing all of you back here on Saturday night for what's shooting to be a great fight. So thank you very much.
Now to another man who was instrumental in putting this fight together, Daniel Jacobs' manager, Mr. Keith Conley.
I'd like to welcome everybody here today. I'm excited it's fight week. A bunch of people have asked me if I'm excited for the fight. I'm most excited to see how this all turns out, the Danny Jacobs story. I've known Danny for about 15 years since he was a teenager, and it's been an honor to see him grow from the boy that I first met to the man that he is now. And I think this fight is happening at exactly the right time. He's physically mature, but more importantly, he's mentally mature. He's definitely not overwhelmed by the moment, and I expect him to embrace everything Saturday night and come out victorious. I'd like to thank a bunch of people, and I'll be quick because I know you guys want to hear from the fighters. I want to thank DAZN. I'd like to thank Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez for taking the fight. I'd like to thank John Skipper. He really stepped up financially to make this fight happen. I didn't think it was going to happen at one point. I'd also like to thank Eddie Hearn, who I think is the greatest promoter in boxing on the planet today. I'd also like to thank Andre Rozier, the great late Victor Roundtree, Danny's first trainer, everybody else on Team Jacobs. I know it might not be the popular thing, but I also want to thank Al Heyman. He was very instrumental in helping me guide Danny's career. So him and Eddie Hearn deserve all the credit in the world. I'm really excited for Saturday night. We're only a few days away. And I am convinced at the end of Saturday night, Danny will be the unified and lineal middleweight champion of the world. Thank you, everybody.
The first thing people say when they see Daniel Jacobs, like my broadcast partner Sergio Mora, when he steps in the ring, it's, oh my gosh, look how big he is. He cuts a lot of weight in camp, gets in great shape. But for this camp, he was not the only one who got in ridiculous shape. His trainer, in less than a month, has lost 38 pounds. And today is his birthday, so please give it up for Mr. Andre Rozier.
How you doing, Oscar? Well, it's true. Yeah, I did lose some weight. We had a fantastic camp, and I'm just happy that Danley has finally reached this pinnacle. This is the point that he has strived to get to since he first began boxing. And he is ready. I thank Canelo for accepting the challenge. I expect a fantastic battle, but as it was just told a few seconds ago, it is my birthday, and my son is going to present me with the best birthday present I could ever get by having his hand.
He did lose 38 pounds, but he's expected to rehydrate 20 more pounds on fight night. So watch out for that. Well, you've heard the great story already. I don't need to say anything else. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen. He's the Miracle Man for a reason. He's a walking, living, breathing miracle, and he's the IBF middleweight champion of the world. Please give it up for Daniel Jacobs.
Well, thank you guys, first off, for being here. I mean, what can I cover that we haven't covered already? What questions can I answer that you guys haven't asked already? I just feel as if the thirst for this fight is at an all-time high. We're only 3 days away from a mega fight, and it's such a privilege to be here with all of you guys right before this mega showdown. Once again, I want to thank Canelo Alvarez for accepting this challenge, and Team Golden Boy. It's an honor and a privilege to be in the ring with you guys. I want to thank my team, Team Jacobs, and everyone involved for making this possible. DAZN, Eddie Hearn, and Matchroom. This is the opportunity of a lifetime for me, and I'm mostly excited to get in there to show the world that I am the best middleweight of my generation. I've been saying it all the while, but now I finally have an opportunity to prove it. to go against this fine stellar champion in Canelo Alvarez. You guys are going to see fireworks, masterful boxing, skills, dedication, persistency, and grit, most importantly. I want to thank all my fans back home at Brooklyn, New York for supporting me and rooting me on. If you're not here in Las Vegas, Cinco de Mayo weekend is going to be a poppin' weekend. So you're going to miss out, but you can catch it on DAZN Live. You can support this fight. I just want to say thank you once again to the media, even though I've seen all you guys all week for 2 months, too many I can't count. But I appreciate you guys for spreading the word of boxing, because boxing still strives as we have two champions who's going to give you guys the very best show that we possibly can. To my family, I love you always for always supporting me and being there for me, showing me the love and support that I need to be the man that I am. Most importantly, the best fighter that I can be inside that ring. I mean, I can talk all day, but I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep my fighting. I'm going to talk inside the ring and let my fighting speak for itself. But to Canelo, let's put on a good show, my brother. Thank you.
Imagine the pressure when Canelo Alvarez meets you for the first time and you're going to be his trainer, and he says to you, I don't want to just be a professional boxer. I don't just want to be a world champion. I want to go down as one of the greatest boxers of all time. That's what he said to Eddie Reynoso, and so far, so good. Please welcome the 2018 WBC Trainer of the Year, Eddie Reynoso.
Buenas tardes a todos los que están aquí presentes.
Good afternoon to everyone here.
El sábado va a haber una pelea en una categoría donde le ha dado mucho lustre al boxeo, que es la categoría de peso medio.
Saturday night we have a great fight in a division that's given boxing a historically great fights.
Grandes boxeadores han desfilado por esa división, dejando historia en el boxeo. Y creo que el sábado va a haber una pelea épica entre dos campeones, los mejores pesos medios que hay en la actualidad, Daniel Jacobs, Canelo.
And without a doubt, Saturday night you're going to have one of the greatest fights between two of the best fighters, two of the great champions like Daniel Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez.
Desde que empezamos la carrera con Saúl y empezamos a crecer, siempre quisimos dejar huella en el boxeo. Sabemos que las peleas importantes y las que te catapultan a los grandes niveles son las que vamos a tener el sábado.
And ever since we began our career in boxing with Canelo, we always knew that we were going to have to take these types of risky fights. These are the fights that catapult you to the top, to the elite level.
Tenemos enfrente un gran peleador, un campeón. Este año queremos barrer con la división para ser el primer mexicano en ser campeón unificado y tener los 4 títulos. Daniel Jacobs no nos va a detener. Estamos preparados, hicimos un gran campamento y está listo el Canelo para ganar el sábado.
We have a tremendous challenge in front of us, a tremendous champion in Daniel Jacobs. But this year, our goal is to sweep the middleweight division and win all 4 belts. And Daniel Jacobs will not detain that goal. We have a tremendous fight, but we are prepared for that.
Muchas gracias otra vez y a todos los que hacen posible esta pelea, DAZN, Golden Boy, Match Rome, el equipo de Daniel Jacobs y a todos ustedes muchísimas gracias. Los esperamos el sábado.
And thank you to everyone that made this possible. DAZN, Matchroom, Golden Boy, Team Jacobs, and all of you with the press. Thank you. We'll see you Saturday.
Our next guest has been a part of Team Canelo since he first entered the gym as a young boy in Guadalajara. Welcome his manager and co-trainer, Jose Chepo Reynoso.
¿Qué tal? Muy buenas tardes a todos y cada uno de ustedes y gracias por asistir a esta última conferencia con vistas a la pelea del sábado.
Good afternoon to each and every one of you, and thank you once again for assisting and reporting on this great fight that we have Saturday night.
Quiero platicarles a ustedes que en este campamento se trabajaron muchos minutos, muchas horas, muchos días intensos.
I would like to give you a little bit of what happened in camp, of all the hard work, of all the intense work, and the long days and the long hours of training in this last camp.
Porque intensa esperamos la pelea.
Because intensity is what we expect in the fight.
Pero ¿qué nos da ese trabajo? Bueno, ese trabajo nos da la confianza, la tranquilidad de que se hicieron las cosas bien y de que el sábado que le levanten la mano a Saúl va a confirmar y reafirmar que hoy por hoy es el mejor peso medio. Muchas gracias.
And all this hard work is just what gives us the tranquility, the peace of mind that comes Saturday night. When his hand is raised, it will reconfirm to everyone that he is the best middleweight on the planet. Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
And finally, to the man of the hour. 54 professional fights, only one loss, ladies and gentlemen. He is the WBA, WBC, and lineal middleweight champion of the world, Saúl Canelo Alvarez.
Bueno, ya lo que se dijo, ya no puedo decir nada nuevo. Hice como unas 1000 entrevistas hace ratito. Simplemente quiero agradecerles a todos el apoyo que siempre me han brindado.
Everything that's had to be said has been said. We've talked to you did a lot of interviews, but look, we're just ready for what comes. We're ready for Saturday.
Gracias a mis fans, gracias a Team Jacobs, Dizon, Golden Boy, mi equipo. Gracias por estar aquí siempre y por obviamente tomar esta pelea y que se haga posible todo esto.
And I want to thank everyone involved, the Zone, Team Jacobs, Golden Boy, my team, and everyone for making this possible.
Y pues estoy listo como siempre para hacer y seguir haciendo historia. Muchas gracias a todos, nos vemos el sábado y espero disfruten de una gran pelea.
And I'll repeat to you, I'm ready. I'm ready to continue writing history like I always have. I'll see you all Saturday night. Thank you.
Now, a couple quick questions. Daniel, obviously you have a common opponent in Triple G. Who would you say is the better fighter and the tougher to prepare for, Canelo or Gennady Golovkin?
Is this on? Okay. I think mentally, Golovkin was sought out to be the most devastating power puncher and the boogeyman of the division. So I think mentally, Golovkin was probably a bit tougher to mentally get prepared for. But I think physically, this is a much harder preparation because Canelo is very agile, he's very loose, he's very fast, and his offensive onslaught is at an all-time high. So I think it's a very drastic difference. But in my opinion, obviously I thought I won the Triple G fight, and I will assure that I will win this fight with no controversy.
Canelo, in your first fight against Triple G, you fought mostly going backwards. Then in the rematch, you were on the tack for most of the fight. How will you fight Daniel Jacobs?
Bueno, soy un peleador que puede adaptarse a cualquier cosa, ¿no? A cualquier situación. Obviamente el sábado él me va a dar la pauta para saber qué es lo que voy a hacer. Obviamente traemos nuestra estrategia, pero siempre, normalmente en el primer asalto cambia todo, así que vengo listo para cualquier cosa.
Look, I'm a fighter that's fought all the styles, and I mean, what he brings in Saturday night, it's going to show me, it's going to bring out the reaction of me as well to counter whatever he can bring.
Daniel, I know your trainer is very meticulous with watching fighters and their styles. In your opinion, what will it take for you to get the win on Saturday?
What will take the win is simply me just being the best version of myself. I have every attribute to be victorious. I mean, just my physical advantages in itself can win me the fight. But I think I have now the mental capacity. I'm in my prime now, too. I think I'm the only fighter that Canelo has faced other than since Floyd Mayweather to been in his prime, to be at an all-time high now. So for me, I'm super confident, but I'm going in there with the ability as well. So I do think that I'll be victorious by just being the best version of me and displaying great skills that I have naturally.
Canelo, we talked earlier about how big Daniel Jacobs gets on fight night. He'll be the bigger man. How confident are you, though, that you could still, if the opportunity presents itself, stop Daniel Jacobs by knockout?
En el boxeo todo puede suceder, ¿no? Y más el knockout. Siempre está ahí, siempre está a un paso. Entonces, vengo listo para todo. Si se me presenta la oportunidad de noquear, lo voy a noquear sin duda. Y si no, ganar decisión, ¿no? No me importa si es más grande, si es más chico, si es más fuerte. Creo que tengo la experiencia y las habilidades para poder con esto y con más.
In boxing, anything could happen, and that's including the knockout. If it's there, trust me, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to go for the knockout. I've never given a... I don't care. I don't care if he's bigger, he's stronger, or he's smaller. That's never bothered me. I have the capability, I have the experience to overcome that and more.
Well, thank you for everyone in attendance today. If you'd like interviews afterwards, feel free to stick around. But right now, we're going to face the fighters off. And for those of you watching on DAZN, tickets are still available, or you can watch it right here Saturday, May 4th, live from the T-Mobile Arena. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you Saturday night.